We're now joined by number 5 ranked UFC heavyweight Alistair Wolverine, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Stateside Press.
Alistair, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you for asking. Alistair, I wanted to ask you about some of your biggest moments, highlights from your career, both in and out of the cage. I know I'm a little late on this one, but I think a lot of fans always wanted to know, how did you end up in the music videos from Lmfao? Sexy and I Know It and Sorry for Party Rockin'.
That's a long time ago. That's 2010, 11, 12-ish. Okay, so I was in LA at the time and just happened to be there for other stuff. And then one of the Lmfao guys is a huge fan. And we have some mutual friends. So they kind of put us together with the guy that had there on the set. And I just went there to say hi. And then it was like, oh, yeah, cool. Come in the video clip. And then before I know it, I was in the video clip. But that was like, yeah, both times.
I mean, I think a lot of fans were like, you know, one of the most unexpected cameos by a UFC fighter at the time.
Kind of funny.
And we never really got the story of how it came together. Recently, people are saying Michael Chandler had the best UFC debut 2 weeks ago, but then a lot of people argue, what about Overeem against Brock Lesnar? So I just want to ask your opinion. I mean, you were there. Do you feel you had the best UFC debut?
Definitely better than Michael Chandler. All respect to Michael and his performance, but yeah, I don't think you can compare those two fights, right? Alistair versus Brock Lesnar 2011, or Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker. I don't think you can make a comparison between those two.
What do you remember most about that fight in particular? Because there was so much attention, obviously his WWE stardom, and then at the time you were coming in, you had all those belts from all the different organizations. What do you remember years later about that whole experience?
I remember everything very clear. And besides, we have the Reem, my online documentary, is doing I think it's season 2 finale, I think. So we got you, if you want to go and check that out, it's going to be on there, right? So, yeah, there was like a lot of things going on. It was crazy. You know, I came off with the Verdun win, and then before that, the K1 Grand Prix win, and the Dream win, the Dream title win. And, yeah, it was a very hectic time, a lot of moving parts. I was moving to the States, fans everywhere. I couldn't walk normal in Vegas. I got just chased by fans. And yeah, it was a crazy time. I'm actually happy that it's not as hectic anymore, and it's kind of like a little bit more calm and soothing.
Final question, just how do you see yourself getting the win against Volkov this Saturday?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the fight, but I do see myself winning. I do see myself dominating him everywhere, stand up and ground. And yeah. One outcome only. My hands raised.
Hey, thank you, Alistair. Good luck.
We'll take our next set of questions from Santiago Sanchez with 85.
Hi, Alistair. Greetings from Amsterdam. I will ask one question in English and then one question in Dutch. First of all, your last 4 wins all came by serious ground and pound finishes. Is that the game plan again, Alistair, to bring the fight to the mat when the moment presents itself and do some damage there?
When the moment is there, we're probably going to take him down and give him some J and pay.
And the last question for me in Dutch. Goedemiddag, Alistair. Je staat alweer klaar voor jouw 5e main event op rij. En het lijkt erop dat je nog lang geen gas terug aan het nemen bent. Dit gevecht met Volkov zou passend zijn geweest voor een grote UFC-show in Amsterdam. Helaas is dat door de situatie nu niet mogelijk. Is dat wel iets wat nog hoog op jouw verlanglijstje staat, Alistair? Om een groot gevecht naar Amsterdam toe te halen en om een prachtige walkout te doen in jouw eigen stad, met jouw eigen fans achter je?
Jazeker. Corona heeft veel roet bij heel veel mensen in deze gegooid. Gelukkig vechten bij de UFC wel door. Het is even afwachten nu. Natuurlijk, als ik in Nederland vecht, dan wil je natuurlijk publiek erbij hebben. Op dit moment is er geen publiek mogelijk. Ik denk dat het nog wel even gaat duren. Maar goed, gelukkig kunnen we in Vegas en Abu Dhabi vechten. En ja, zodra het weer mogelijk is, dan gaan we ervoor. Hè?
Heel erg bedankt voor de tijd, Alistair. En veel succes op Fight Night. Thank you so much.
We'll take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Alistair, I don't want to open on a sore subject, but I want to ask the question. I know after your last fight, you've been looking for that rematch with Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Obviously, you got Alexander Volkov. I'm sure there's nothing against Volkov, but you're fighting in February. Jairzinho is fighting later this month. Was there any disappointment that they didn't match you two up again?
Well, he didn't want to take the fight, so yeah, then we move on, right? That's it.
Did they offer him the fight?
He didn't want the fight.
Do you, at this point, will you chase it any further with him?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'm more focused on me than on running after. He already didn't want to fight me, so yeah. What can you do?
Yeah. I know you've said a lot about, making this final run towards the UFC title, and obviously you've been on a good win streak right here. Does that, you've faced so many pressure situations in your career, the K1 tournament, all the things you've done, but does that raise the intensity, raise the pressure in these fights, knowing that about, towards the end of your career, making this final run? Does that raise the intensity at all?
What exactly?
Like, does that raise the pressure in this fight? You basically said, you're making this final run, you're going to make this last run at the title. Does that raise the pressure in every single fight you have right now?
No, not really. Listen, I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the walkout, the fight, and everything that comes with it. So there is not really pressure, and I think that pressure also doesn't improve your performance. So there wouldn't be any pressure. Of course, the pressure is always kind of there, but I'm just enjoying it.
I know you have had a lot of great training partners and a lot of great teammates over the years, but I talked to your teammate Curtis Blades about a week ago, and he just raves about working with you and how much he loves, enjoys working with you, how much you've added to his striking game, and how much he's helped you as much as you need. He actually said that he doesn't know how much he can add to your ground game. You're pretty good on the ground already, but obviously he fought Volkov pretty recently. How much did he add to this training camp, and how much has it meant to have Curtis as a teammate? Because he speaks your praises pretty constantly.
Yeah, Curtis is great. He is one of my best training partners ever. Very humble giant. I do believe we lift each other up. And yes, he fought Volkov, so of course there's going to be some tips and some pointers there. And other than that, we push each other in a positive way.
Last one for me, as you mentioned, you're making this final run at the title. Are you showing patience in that run? And the reason I ask that question is because obviously we know we got Stipe and Ngannou fighting in March, and then John Jones is supposed to get the next title shot. Obviously, your teammate Curtis Blades is right there as well. Are you willing to show patience for this title shot, knowing it may take a couple, 3 more fights, depending on how this plays out?
Let's fight Saturday and see what happens there, and then afterwards we'll talk again.
Thank you, Alistair.
We'll take our next set of questions from Sumik Data with Sportskeeda.
Hey, Alistair, welcome back and hope you're doing well.
Yes.
So you've said that this would be a final run for a shot at the title. You're coming into this fight on the back of 2 big wins. How many more wins do you think you're going to need to get that title shot?
I believe after this win we can start talking about it. So this one, maybe 2.
Now, there has been a lot of talks of John Jones possibly fighting for the title later this year. If you go on to win these many fights, do you somewhat fear that the UFC might give him the shot ahead of yourself?
Yeah, that could happen. There could be some waiting involved. I don't know, right? Nobody knows. Let's just focus on Saturday and see what happens.
So the next heavyweight title fight, as we know, will be between Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou at UFC 260. You faced both men in the past. What are your predictions for that fight?
I could see maybe Stipe taking it again, but either, both are tremendous athletes, so it can go either way.
And last question for me. You mentioned recently that if you win the belt, you would retire immediately, retire. By that, did you mean that you're going to retire inside the octagon itself, or do you plan on holding the belt for a few weeks and then eventually, vacate the title?
I don't know yet. Good question though, but I don't know yet.
Okay, I look forward to fight this weekend and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Who's?
We'll take our next set of questions from Nikita Korsnin with Sport Express.
Alistair, hello. Big honor to speak to you.
How are you?
Alistair, I'm very good, thank you. Alistair, you have 11 fights with Russian fighters and 8 wins. Can you recollect the most memorable one?
I mean, Igor Vovchansin, right? Alexei Oleinik. What's the guy's name? Orlovsky was there. I'd say it's been a lot of Russians in the United. You talk about it. It's been a lot of Russians.
Alistair, you probably the best knee striker in MMA history. You have 11 knockouts with that amazing knee, stepping knee to the body. How you developed such amazing technique? It's a Netherlands school or what's the secret?
Well, it's Muay Thai knee, right? Originally from Thailand. But I used to have this Dutch coach, Lucien Carbin, and he had all the Muay Thai techniques. So I would train a lot of knees with him. But before that, I already had some knees, a lot of knee victories. So yeah, just always train my knees.
What openings do you special need to land this knee?
Well, it's good from the clinch, but also when you're punching and then throw the knee unsuspected, it's also effective.
Alistair, you have that some really interesting tendency to lose fights when you win them, and against fighters that you much more high class. That Antonio Bigfoot fight, Travis Brown fight, and Ben Rothwell fight. You much more skillful guy than them. How do you think it's some mental or why you lost that fight? You should must win. How do you think?
Well, listen, fighting is fighting. There's an X factor. Anything can happen. In general, I believe I win 80% of all my fights, so we're still good there. But listen, it's a real fight. Things can happen. You can actually lose a fight. There's no guarantees for me.
Alistair, do you remember such a Russian fighter, Yuri Kochkin? You have 2 fights with him in rings, and he won this fights. Do you remember him?
I do.
Believe it or not, I have interview with him 1 week ago, and that wins overuse for him so much important that it in his application WhatsApp on mobile phone, in his photo profile, he has screenshot from your fight, and when ref raised his hand. Just imagine how this wins important for him, and he remembers the meeting with you in Yekaterinburg after the fight. Some cups of beer, and he said that you're an amazing person and he would dream to communicate with you, but he doesn't know no English, no Dutch. So maybe some warm words for him, you know, he will be very happy to listen to them.
Yeah, say hello to him. And is he still in Yekaterinburg?
Yes, he lives in Yekaterinburg. He's now 56 years old. He's a karate coach.
Yeah, tell him I will come looking and visit him sometime. Probably after COVID, so probably next year. But I will come to visit him. A very respectful gentleman, and it was an honor to have shared the ring not once but twice with him.
Alistair, you have 3 ground and pound wins in your last 5 wins. It's because you moved to Team Elevation, or why your ground and pound became so terrifying?
I kind of always liked it, but Team Elevation really likes the ground and pound. So yeah, we do train a lot.
Alistair, your last submission win was in 2009. How hard work you now on your submissions, and what submissions you like the most on this period of your career?
Yeah, we have submissions. We train them, but I don't know, for some sort of reason, you know, it takes 2 to tango. Your opponent must also cooperate with the submission. And yeah, I don't know, for some sort of reason, it is more ground and pound. You're right.
Alistair, some words about Alexander Volkov. He's some kind of new breed of heavyweight. He's very tall. His karate style, very unique style. Does he bring something special for you?
Definitely have the reach advantage. I think he's a strong fighter. I think he's a technical fighter. I think he's also a very intelligent fighter. So it promises all to be a very good competition.
Alistair, last two questions from me. You have a lot of sparrings with John Jones. Have you ever wobbled him or hurt him in sparrings?
I would not talk about disrespectful about John.
But he in top 3 the most talented fighters you ever spar. Yes? Maybe.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very gifted. It will be a very good move for him to come up to heavyweight. I foresee a lot of excellent fights.
Alistair, last question. I've talked to Frank Mir last year, and he said that his body felt beat up because he has so long career. You have endless career. When you woke up in the morning, does your body feel a little bit sore, painful, or that Jamaican genetics so crazy that you feel still amazing now?
I'm still 100%. Still 100%. Yeah.
Alistair, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Big honor to speak to you, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Cody Cruz with For the Win MMA.
How you doing, Alistair? Good to talk to you.
Afternoon or evening or where you may be.
I'm in Santiago de Chile, so it's evening yet. Thank you for asking, man. We could spend hours talking about all your accomplishments in combat sports. When you started this journey, could you imagine that you'd still be a top 5 contender in the biggest platform the sport has to offer at this stage of your career?
Well, I mean, when I started, I you never know when you're that young, right? I never could imagine after 20 years I would still be fighting. 24 years actually, but yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I can only be thankful and happy for it.
Alistair, what would you say is your favorite moment in your career so far?
Well, I've had several different good moments. I don't know, ever since joining Team Elevation has been a great moment, right? We've had a great development in the last 2 years. Great fights, exciting fights. The K1 period was amazing, right? Winning the K1 championship, and then a couple weeks later, the Dream Championship. Earlier, the light heavyweight Grand Prix Pride was also an amazing moment. So my career having its ups and its downs, but every time coming back up and having a great moment.
Alistair, you mentioned Elevation Team. How did you feel for this fight camp? I read that you seclude yourself and your girls to get into battle mode. That's the way you put it on social media. How difficult is it for you to lock daddy up and get ready for war?
Yeah, so I don't see them for, what is it, a month or so, and I just focus on myself and I focus on the fight. Focus on training. Yeah, I have to say, getting older and seeing them grow, and it becomes more hard. It becomes more difficult. Very true.
Well, you have multiple titles to your name. How important is it for you to hold UFC gold in terms of legacy? Is this something in your mind at all, or you don't pay attention to that?
Well, a little bit, but not too much. I foremost always try to enjoy myself, and I think if you're thinking too much about the belt, you're maybe not enjoying yourself. So I don't think about it too much, but it would be nice to win the UFC belt, cement the legacy as the great of all times. But again, the focus is just on feeling good, training good, doing things I like.
Well, you said earlier that you didn't want to get into any specifics in terms of the fight that you have with Alexander Volkov, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on Volkov in terms of skill set and overall competitiveness.
Well, I definitely do not underestimate him. I think he's an excellent fighter, excellent striking. I think he's intelligent, and I will need all hands on deck to beat him Saturday.
With all the talks of this being your final run in the division, do you have a message for all the heavyweight competitors out there?
No.
Fair enough. Do you have a plan for your life after fighting? Would you still be involved in the fight game somehow?
Yes, I will definitely be involved. I intend to become a coach. I'll create 2 teams, one in Thailand and one in my native Netherlands. So I'll be between these 2 spots, Netherlands and Thailand, and a little bit USA.
Well, Alistair, it's been an honor to share a few moments with you. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck in your fight, and congratulations for an amazing career.
Thank you, sir. Who's
We'll take our next set of questions from Fabricio Sosa with Clarín.
how many of these are there?
Hi, Alistair. Sorry for my bad English from Argentina.
Nice. How are you?
Fine, fine. After a great career like the one you have, how do you get motivated to keep going?
Well, it comes automatically because I just really like to. I like my to do. So that is where the motivation comes from, right? I like it. It's my passion.
How do you analyze the evolution of MMA since you started until today?
Well, I actually started as a second generation MMA fighter. In the beginning, MMA was more about the best style. Let's see what is the best style. I started the second generation, which was two styles, kickboxing and sambo wrestling. And I think right now we are hitting generation 5, maybe 6. Everybody's just fit. Everybody can do everything. Everybody's good standing up on the ground wrestling. Everybody's got good cardio, good conditioning. So it's further now. I think 5th or 6th generation.
Okay. What should you watch out from Volkov inside the octagon? What is the danger of Volkov?
Well, Danger has a striking. I think he's a very complete fighter. I think he's a very strong fighter, very fit fighter. So yeah, we will see what he has to bring this Saturday.
In case if you win that fight, you think you could demand the title fight another next?
Yeah. So after we win, we're close to the title, but maybe we need to win one more. So we will just focus on Saturday and wait to see what will come after.
Right. What you think about the MMA of Latin America? Do you
Latin
know?
America has some strong fighters, right? Of course, Brazil, but also Argentina has some strong fighters. So it's coming up. Great to see.
What do you know about Argentina, Alistair?
Great steak.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's all we have for you today, Alistair. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah.